Good morning. I'm Sherry Bernath. I'm the worship associate for this morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. To everyone here, of course, and to those of our folks who are watching on YouTube, and also a special welcome to any visitors we have this morning, anyone new to our group. We are the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. Our minister is Reverend Walter LaFleur, who's on sabbatical right now. Our speaker this morning is Anna Tulu, who you'll be seeing in just a minute. And the focus of her talk is faith in action. So please silence your cell phones and welcome. Our words of welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. And our covenant, we commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to force for good in the world. I will now sound our little gong here for our 7 principles.
Jessie, when I said, I need a song about this, she said, I have a song about that. And it took her about 1 second in her library of strange songs she knows. So We're going to do it for you. It has some rhythm. Ready?
It's about as useless as a screen door on a submarine. Faith without works, baby, it just ain't happening. One is your left hand, one is your right. It'll take 2 strong arms to hold on tight. Some folks cut off their nose just to spite their face. I think you need some works to show for your alleged faith. Well, there's a difference, you know, between having faith and make-believe. One will make you grow, the other one just makes you sleep. Talk about it, but I really think you ought to take a leap off the ship before you claim to walk on water. Faith without works is like a song you can't sing. It's about as useless as a screen door on a submarine. Faith comes from God, and every word He breathes, He lets you take it to your heart so you can give it hands and feet. It's gotta be active. If it's gonna be alive, you gotta put it into practice. Otherwise, it's
is useless as a screen door on a submarine. Faith without works, baby, it just ain't happening. One is your right hand and one is your left.
It's your light, your guide, your life and your breath.
Faith without works is like a song you can't sing. It's about as useless as a screen door on a submarine. Faith without works is like a song you can't sing.
It's about as useless as a screen door on a submarine.
It's all downhill from there, folks. We're going to do something a little different. We haven't done this in a while. We're going to do a responsive reading. Don't worry, it's easy. And this is When I Change by Ma Teresa, or Tet Castillo Gallardo, from the UU congregation of Quezon City in the Philippines. Each line, I ask you to respond if you are comfortable. When I change, the world changes. So let's practice. When I change, the world changes. We are here to derive meaning in our actions. When I change, the world changes. We are here to win our power back over our areas of powerlessness. We are here to deepen our understanding of ourselves and self-discipline. When I change, the world changes. We are here to abolish prejudice with an appreciation for our diversity and differences. When I change, the world changes. We are here to feel our personal power, capacity to affect the lives of other people. When I change, the world changes. We are here to become teachers to each other. When I change, the world changes. We are here to spend time away from the usual influences and relearn reality. When I change, the world changes. When I am given desire, I am also given the power and means to achieve my goals. When I change, the world changes. I am here to see that my singular life is a gateway to countless possibilities. When I change, the world changes.
We now kindle, inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life.
Good morning, y'all. My name is Jessie. I am the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here at UUCR and a professional cup percussionist. Today is National Uncommon Instrument Day, which is what we're going to be doing with the kids upstairs. Today I have a wonderful Todd Parr book for you. If you're familiar with Todd Parr's illustrations, these are just as bright and lovely as you can expect, and it's called The Peace Book. And this is a very active reading book because I need you to keep track of how many times we do action words. So words that mean doing things. So I'll start with the first page, and it's peace is making new friends. Is there action in that? I see some fingers going up. We're already starting to count. Peace is keeping the water blue for all the fish. Peace is listening to different kinds of music. Peace is saying you're sorry when you hurt someone. Peace is helping your neighbor. They're painting a house. Peace is reading all different kinds of books. Peace is thinking about someone you love. Who's been keeping count so far? What count are we at? 7. Peace is giving shoes to someone who needs them. I think this guy needs lots of shoes. Peace is planting a tree. Peace is sharing a meal. Peace is wearing different clothes. Peace is watching it snow. Peace is keeping the streets clean. Peace is offering a hug to a friend. Peace is everyone having a home. Peace is growing a garden. Peace is taking a nap. Peace is learning another language. Konnichiwa, guten tag, blah, 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 blah. Meow, hola. Peace is having enough pizza for everyone. Peace is keeping someone warm. Peace is new babies being born. Peace is being free. Peace is traveling to different places. Peace is wishing on a star. Peace is being who you are. So who kept count? Who thinks they have an accurate count? 25. Do you think 25 action words are easy to do? So I've got a yes, I've got a, I don't know. Depends on where you are right now. 25 in a day might be difficult. 25 over your lifetime might seem super easy and challenge me to do 25 more. Doing what we believe can be hard. How many people in here believe in peace? If we believe in it, we can put those 25 words into action. And that is what Anna is going to bring to us today. If you're joining me upstairs for Uncommon Instrument Day, we're going to put a little bit of our beliefs in action. We saw one uncommon instrument this morning, and we are going to go play some nose flute and learn about a vegetable orchestra. So you can join me right outside that door. If you want to see this book, I'll leave it in the lobby as usual.
That sounds really good. I won't be insulted if you guys want to go with Jesse. Our reading this morning is from the book of James, chapter 2, verses 14 through 18. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith, but do not have works? Can faith save you? If a brother or sister is naked and lacks daily food, and one of you says to them, go in peace, keep warm and eat your fill, and yet do not supply their bodily needs, what is the good of that? So faith by itself, if it has no works, is dead. But someone will say, you have faith and I have works. Show me your faith apart from your works, and I, by my works, will show you my faith. Put that away for a second. So these words were written nearly 2,000 years ago, and they still speak across that gulf of time, and for many of us, myself included, again, across a gulf of religious belief. As Unitarian Universalists, we are, some of us, Christian, but also Jewish, atheist, pagan, humanist, Buddhist, and many more. The Epistle of James is one of the most spiritually inclusive passages in the Christian New Testament, at least to this pagan Buddhist UU, because it poses this challenge. Whatever our spiritual tradition, can we say that we, by our works, show our faith? So I want to give you a little historical context because first, I'm a big nerd, but also it is a little relevant. The book of James, the epistle or letter of James, was attributed commonly to James, the brother of Jesus. But since it was written about 100 years into the Common Era, it's very unlikely that's the case. James was a very common name at the time, so the attribution is a little sketchy. It was written to a community of Christians living in the Roman Empire, and we're going to come back to that in a minute. Interestingly, to me at least, Martin Luther of Protestant Reformation fame used the same passage as evidence that the Epistle of James should be downgraded in importance because it seems to contradict the teachings of the Apostle Paul, who is widely considered to be the second most important person in Christianity, second to Jesus, that is. Both Paul and James talk about how one attains salvation or justification in terms of faith and works. In Paul's letter to the Romans, he said, quote, "We hold that a person is justified by faith apart from works prescribed by the law." That's from Romans 3:28. So faith, not works, is the key. But James, on the other hand, says faith by itself, if it has no works, is dead. So it's clear that there seems to be a contradiction between the two authors. Or is there? It's now widely believed that the difference in the two authors' messages lies in their usage of the words faith and works. They meant different things by them. According to biblical scholar Bart Ehrman, Paul saw faith as a trusting acceptance of Christ's death from a Christian perspective to put one in right relationship with God, whereas James sees faith simply as intellectual belief or acknowledgement. So pretty big difference there. Paul's reference to works refers to those uniquely Jewish practices, such as circumcision, honoring the Sabbath, and various food and purity practices, which early Christians were hotly debating whether they needed to uphold themselves, Jesus himself having been Jewish. So Paul was saying one's faith in the redemptive power of Jesus' sacrifice is the important thing, not whether or not someone adheres to the Jewish traditions. Faith, not adherence to Jewish traditions. Make sense? But this is not what James meant by faith and works. And it's likely that James wrote the epistle to address any misconceptions of Paul's words among early Christian communities. They thought that it meant that all that mattered was what you believe and not what you do, which is not the case. In his attempt to rectify this, James' usage of works is more akin to good deeds, deeds of service to others. So James's version is works, not just faith, not just what you believe, or essentially don't just talk the talk. You need to walk the walk. With that in mind, we can see that James's message, though intended for Christians, was actually an ethical insight that can be held as true across spiritual traditions. Now, life in the first century Christian community was not easy. It would be another 200 years before Constantine, for good or ill, converted to Christianity and set in motion Christianity's move toward becoming a dominant religious force in the world. Although in the first century, the scant Christian population was not broadly targeted by the Roman Empire, they were often marginalized and persecuted locally, sometimes imprisoned or even martyred, because they were new and they were strange, and they didn't always play well with others. The stakes were high, and maybe due to that, many of the epistles are rife with these promises of heaven and threats of hell, the theological carrot and stick to wield to try to control early Christians' behaviors. If you were faithful, you would be saved, and your enemies would suffer in torment forever. And if you were not faithful, you would suffer in torment forever. Now that makes James' letter more special to me because he doesn't get into all of that. It sounds more, it's more focused on the moral choices of daily life. And it reads more like one of the books from the Jewish tradition, the wisdom tradition, Koheleth or Ecclesiastes, the book of Proverbs. And in the midst of all the hellfire and brimstone and salvation and apocalypse of the other Christian epistles, James simply advocates good deeds as a reflection and extension of our faith. He offers advice on how to be in community, advising that one be, quote, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Fairly good advice. He advocates for those most vulnerable in society, such as widows and orphans. To his mind, the greatest ill is to see someone in need, without clothing, without food, and to wish them well, but offer no relief. What is the good of that? And so James defines sin in a manner different from how many of us understand it today. He writes, quote, anyone who knows the right thing to do and fails to do it commits sin, James 4:17. Meaning sin isn't just doing bad things, but feigning ignorance of what is good and right, ignoring suffering. How many of us are aware of social or environmental harms and feel inadequate to address them? Does that remove our responsibility? See, it's not about perfection. It's about having accountability to our level of awareness. As Maya Angelou said, do the best you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better. There's so much grace in this message, and the responsibility is still heavy. James addresses this as well when he says, quote, therefore confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. Again, perfection is not the expectation. Accountability is. And community helps us with this. If sin is being aware of the need and failing to act, we must be willing to admit this to one another, to support one another as we grow into our faith, our belief, through our works. And so this is work of covenant. This is work of living our principles. Now, generally, James is pretty chill, except when he starts talking about rich people. And many have conveniently ignored these passages because they don't want to offend people with money who support the church. James says, are you ready? Come now, you rich people, weep and wail for the miseries that are coming to you. Your riches have rotted, your clothes are moth-eaten, your gold and silver have rusted, and their rust will be evidence against you. It's good, right? But I don't actually think this is that different from James's message about showing our faith through our actions and sin as being willfully ignorant and failing to act when we know what's right. And here's why. He says, your gold and silver have rusted, and their rust will be evidence against you. The sin is not in having gold, in having access to wealth. The sin is in letting it rust. When do things rust? When they're not used? Is that what I heard? Okay, yeah, idle. Okay, so food. Food spoils when it's forgotten in the back of the fridge, right? Clothing becomes moth-eaten when we forget it in the back of the closet or the attic. Metal rusts when it goes unused, it's neglected. The sin is not in the wealth. It is in letting it go to waste, in seeing the need in the world and failing to use our resources and our access to try to meet that need. Riches, whether literal or figurative, are a problem when they are hoarded rather than shared. So no, James does not ask perfection, but he does ask a lot. It's not enough to believe, nor to profess belief. Faith without action is nothing. He says faith by itself, if it has no works, is dead. So take Unitarian Universalism. We describe it as a living tradition. So using James as a lens through which we view our UU principles, these are beautiful ideas, visions. And without actions to carry them into the world, they are nothing. They're lifeless. It is our actions that bring them into living. How much need do we see? How often do we turn away from that need, thinking it's not our place to intervene, or that surely someone else will, or that our small effort can't really make a difference anyway? Maybe we don't want to take on the risk. I know I've done it. I've turned away many times. And we, in these rooms, we've shared a lot of these missed opportunities. And when we fall short and we come together, we heal and we move forward and we endeavor to do better. We make different choices and we keep living our tradition. Show me your faith apart from your works, and I, by my works, will show you my faith. I will show you what I believe. I ask you to consider, what is the need that you perceive in the world? The right thing that you know must be done. What are your riches? Money, talent, time, energy, labor, access? And what of your riches, of your abundance, can you give? For this is the greatest testament to our faith. Blessed be.
Spirit of earth, root, stone, and tree, water of life flowing in me, keep me stable, nourishing me. Oh, fill me with living energy. Spirit of nature, healing and free, Spirit of love, expanding in me, Spirit of life, breathe deeply in me, inspire me with living energy.
Our congregation depends on the time, the talents, the skills, and resources of everyone here. We will have our offertory now, please.
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I feel the real, the far off hymn that hails the new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the darkness round me close? I hear the truth it liveth. What though the darkness round me close? Songs the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. If love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble sick with fear and hear their death knell ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? Through prison wall and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing? I lift my eyes, the clouds grow thin. I see the blue above it, and day by day the pathway clears. Since first I learned to love it, the peace of God restores my soul, a fountain ever springing. All things are mine, for I am loved. How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing?
Thank you for your generosity.
Good morning. I'm Terry Smith, here to represent the Caring Committee. We are the group who, among other things, chronicles the joys and concerns of the members of our congregation and family and friends. Today, July 31st, Beth Carruthers has asked that I share that her former husband, Lewis Carruthers, and their son, Kevin Carruthers, both have COVID, and they're living on base on the coast of Mississippi. We send them healing thoughts, and you too, Beth. I'd also ask that you keep Alice Davis in your thoughts. Alice has never been a smoker, and yet she has developed serious pulmonary health issues, and she's on oxygen now and has had to curtail her activities. So send a pleasant thought her way. And speaking of pleasant thoughts, Beth Griffin had hip replacement surgery 1 week ago tomorrow. She's now recuperating at home, and it was a very successful surgery, and she's doing as well as could be expected. I saw her this morning. She's up and about on her walker, still has limited capabilities and mobility outside the home. If you want to send her a card to let her know she's being thought of, I'm sure it'll help to lift her spirits. And if you would like to share a personal joy or concern, the church secretary administrator can receive your messages and pass them on to the caring committee, or you can call Sally Garber or send her an email. And now, someone will join me and light a candle. For those silent joys and concerns that we all feel in our hearts, let these candles burn bright to lighten the way.
We Whose Journeys Are Always Beginning by Marnie Harmony. We whose journeys are always beginning, we whose mission always awaits us, we whose visions are bent on loving, we gather together here. We are gathered as a community drawn together out of common need, each toting our own carpet bag of treasures and dreams. We are gathered together seeking meaning, yearning to understand life in all its dimensions as it challenges and expands, as it burdens, as it consoles and heals. We are gathered together with questions, the kinds of questions that provoke us to the path of action. We gather with hope, the kind of hope that pulses on through uncertainty. We gather with tenderness, the kind of tenderness that can only be born from knowing human capabilities as well as human imperfections. We gather wanting certainty and having none, but we are wakeful to possibilities as we seek discernment and gentle judgment. We gather then, unbounded but close. We gather thirsting. We gather drawn to our source. Blessed be. Amen and Ashe.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
I have just a few quick announcements this morning. We're still looking for volunteers, in particular the kitchen, preparing coffee in the morning, or ushering, or being greeters. If you're interested in helping out with those things, will you contact Sam and our administrator in the church office? The choir is going to take a break in August and come back in September. If you are interested in joining the choir or having anything to do with the music program, also let Sam know, and she will send that information to Carrie. The climate and Clean Energy Rally, sponsored by the Green Team, will be held on Sunday, August 21st at 12:15 p.m. right after the service. And our board meetings have now been changed from the first Monday to the second Tuesday of the month, which is when we used to have them. So the August board meeting, which was originally scheduled for Monday the 8th, has been moved to Tuesday the 9th at 6:30 p.m.
Start from the top?
Yeah.
Well, the moon is broken and the sky is brown. Come on up to the house. The only thing that you can see is all what you like. Come on up to the house. All your pride, don't you know? Come on up to the house. Come down off the cross, we can use the wall. Come on up to the house. There's no light in the tunnel, no I'm in the fog. Come on up to the house, and you'll sing at least a friend with a jump dance. Come on up to the house. Don't life seem nasty, fish and short? Come on up to the house. The seas are stormy and you can't run through. Come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. There's nothing in the world that you can do. Come on up to the house. And you can win by the forces that are inside you. Come on up to the house. Well, you're high on top of your mountain. Come on up to the house. And you know you shouldn't surrender, but you can't let it go. Come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. The world is not my home. Come on up to the house. Come on up to the house. You gotta come on up to the
It's awesome. We whose journeys are always beginning, we whose mission always awaits us, we whose visions are bent on loving. May our feet be drawn to the trail, that our steps follow the path laid out by our faith. May our hands grow calloused and strong from the work of bringing our principles into the world. May our arms open wide to welcome, to offer, to celebrate, and to console. And may our works be the greatest testament of our faith. Blessed be. Amen and Ashe.
Start from the top? Yeah.